Our third and final project is one where we're going to use multiple decals and put them on one piece of jewelry, kind of as an accent. They're going to be a focal piece and some accent pieces on the side. We start with the bamboo, patterned bamboo in blue on black. This is 96 COE. Cap it with a thick piece, or you can use two thin pieces of clear, and then we fuse it 1425 for 10 minutes, and it comes out fire polished smooth. The edges are round, corners are round, the edges are straight. That's why I like working with 96. It seems to hold its shape really good. And by the way, these decals will work on any smooth glass, 90, 96, float glass, Moretti, anything, as long as the surface is smooth. So this is the one we're going to make right here. It has 5 elements. It's got 3 different dragonflies, and then a corner accent piece here and a corner flower accent piece there. So you want to kind of lay them out as they're going to be put on the glass. And I've got one more to cut out here. I went ahead and cut these out off camera to save time, but there's one more dragonfly to go. And notice I'm cutting very close to the design itself, and this is because once it gets on that glass, it's going to be very difficult to see, so we're going to use the edge of the decal as our guide. So I'm taking off the wax paper on this one, and this one is going to go like this. So we're putting it as we're going to put them on. Okay, we'll start up here with this corner design first. Now the decal will kind of curl up a little bit and straighten itself back out, and it's usually in there for just a very short period of time. So we're going to do the corners first and then work on putting the dragonflies down the middle. So this one should be ready. Let me remove the rest of this stuff off of here, and we'll get our piece of glass over here where we can start working on it. This piece of glass has been cleaned already with alcohol and a lint-free rag. So the way we're doing it is we're going to wet this corner, get the decal started, grab the edge, and this is where your loops are going to come in handy. I'm going to pull that off, but it's wet so we can still move it around. I like to kind of put these over the edge of the glass. It gives another dimension to the piece. Let me pull this in again over here so you can kind of see. See how this kind of goes around the edge of the glass over there? It just kind of brings it all together. That's one of the nice things about working with decals, is they can go around many, many different shapes. So we're going to get this to where it's positioned just right, kind of going over the edge a little bit. Get one of our paper towels. And I'm going to look at this to make sure it's in the right position. There it is, right there. So I'm holding it with my thumb there, and I'm going to take this paper towel, kind of wick the water out from underneath it, going from inside to out. Notice how it's kind of sticking up there a little bit. Take my thumb and push that down, and these edges, kind of crimp them all the way around. As I go, I'm start to come up there. Just take some water out from underneath it. Press it down, inside to out. Kind of go around the edges. Make sure those are all stuck down really well. Notice I'm going inside to out. Okay, that's on there really well. You can see all the little places that were kind of crimped there are all down, touching the glass. Now we do the same thing to the other side. And this is how you can use many different elements from different decals to make your own little design. It's kind of fun. These corner decals are especially fun. The way they're laid out is that a lot of times it's kind of hard to understand what they are, but these are all little corner pieces that can be used on a piece to kind of frame your work, actually. And it's one of the first decals that we made. So take advantage of them. They're pretty cool. That's how the name Glass Accents came about. So this is, like I say, it's wet, so it's still moving around. And I've got it in position right there. So I hold one corner down with my hand, and then I kind of wick the water out from underneath it. I pat it dry. I'm still holding it down. And I kind of grab it and roll it back and forth. Okay, so that one's on. Now we go to our dragonfly elements in the middle. You can kind of put those on there to kind of see how they're going to fit on here. Make sure that the decals are not going to overlap one another. So that could go like that. And this one kind of down here like that. So that looks good, like they're all going to fit. We'll start with this one right up here. Okay, should be ready. Nope, it's not sliding yet, so I'm going to put it back in the water for just a few more seconds. Okay, that should be ready. See how it's sliding? I grab the edge with the tweezers, I take it over and position it right there. And I'm not going to soak the water up underneath that yet, because I still want to be able to move that around a little bit. See how I can kind of move it around? And I'm using the edges of the decal as my guide as to where it is. So I can't really see the design at this point until it's fired. Once it gets on this glass, it just kind of disappears, like I said. Okay, so we slide it over, grab the edge, get it wet, put the decal on, about where we want it, right there. And for the last one, same thing, it's going to kind of head down this way. So the little dragonfly is going to go that way, so we put it down here. Like that. Now they're all kind of laying on there, soaking in the water, so we're going to start at one end and just kind of make sure you come down right over the top of it so you're not moving it around. This one's big enough I can kind of hold it in place. Putting the paper towel on it and just kind of working from inside to out. Here's the other one that moved a little bit, so I'm going to move it back over here. Grab the edge, wick that down. Now you kind of want to grab it and hold it. Now you notice you can't see any of the decals on there at this point. And that's because they're that kind of brown sepia color, and it just blends into anything dark. That's why you have to be so careful to cut so close to the edge of the actual design, so you can use that as your guide. And I can see they're all in the right place. I've got all the water out from underneath them. I'm looking around, and they're all stuck, all edges. Nothing's coming up, so this should be a good transfer. All right, now we're ready to fire them. Okay, so now they're ready to be fired. I like to use shelf paper, so I cut little squares and I just put the glass down on there. Keeps it from sticking to the kiln shelf. Normally you don't really get to that high a temperature. With these decals, I like to fire them at about a tack fuse, so if you've got even any leftover kiln shelf primer on your shelf, that's usually enough, but I don't like to take any chances, so I just put this really thin kiln shelf paper underneath it. Comes in big sheets. You cut it to size. If you're not familiar with it, most any of your fusing supply places will sell it. So here they are, ready to go into the kiln. And like I said, usually you want to take them up to a tack fuse. I say when the glass starts looking wet, that's when the decals are going to be permanent. In other words, they've melted down into the surface of the glass. And the trick is not to let the glass move around so it distorts the decals, but it gets soft on the very outside, that wet look, and that allows the precious metals, and in this instance the enamels, to actually become part of the piece instead of just sitting on top of it. So we're ready to put it in the kiln. Okay, so here we are. We took these up to 1375 and soaked them for a couple minutes and just let it cool naturally, and here we are several hours later, and let's see what we got. Oh, they look nice. Notice how the brown binders have all burned away, and it leaves a nice polished gold. And that's real gold too, by the way. I don't know if I mentioned that. We carry gold, platinum, and the black enamel in many, many different designs. But look at this. Nice gold, nice polished looking gold. Came out very nicely. Same with the black. You can tell that it's actually part of the glass now. You can turn it sideways and see it's just as shiny as the other part of the glass. If it stays flat black, it means you haven't taken it up to temperatures high enough. But like I said, you want to go into a tack fuse right around 1375. Works good. These decals have a range of about 1225 up to 1500, but 1375 for surface applications is where you want to be. So there you have it. That's how you fuse the decals on. Okay, well, to wrap this up, let's go over some troubleshooting about things that can possibly go wrong with your decals. Basically, they stem from three things: either over or under firing the decal. There's another thing that could happen is a little bit of water still left underneath the decal, and it'll steam the decal off so it's not making contact during the firing process, and in which case nothing will show up at all. It'll just be blank. The decal will burn up and go away. Or you could put the decal actually on some dirty or unclean glass, and that will pretty much do the same thing. Keep it from adhering to the glass and just kind of going away instead of firing and transferring. So basically you got the three things: over firing, under firing, having water trapped under the decal, or not having clean glass when you put the decal on in the first place. If something's gone wrong, 9 out of 10 times, that's one of those three things. Thanks.